So let's talk about method arguments. Okay, we can see here that we were calling the show method and it received an hello world argument. Let's see the parameter types that this method can receive. So there's several ways to get those parameter types. One is to delete so let's go out of debugging. One is to delete and open parens again, and that way we can see the parameters that this method can receive. Another useful way, which I use quite a lot, is click this toolbox item. And also you can say Control-Shift-Space, I've been told, which will do the same. Perfect. So we see that this show method accepts a text, which will display a message box with the specified text, and the text is the text to display in the message box. Great. But we can also see that there are 21 variations of this method. And these 21 variations of this method are called method overloads. There are 21 overloads to this method representing different parameters combinations that we can use. And Visual Studio automatically knows, based on the parameters that we've sent, which variation to call. In this case, we call the variation with one parameter, but can just as well choose the one with text and caption. Okay? And the caption would be the text to display in the title bar of the message box. Great. So let's say hello world caption. Perfect. And there's even more overloads over here where I can choose owner and other stuff that I don't really know about right now. Great. So let's run what we've already done and fix our spelling mistakes. And we can see here hello world caption. Perfect. Next, let's see another overload here that represents an interesting type name. We can, by the way, do a new line and it doesn't care as long as we do a semicolon. And we can see that there's an overload that gets a text, a caption, and message box buttons, which means I can choose which buttons I want to show. Maybe there's another one which is cooler than that. No, I think there's only one with buttons over here. See, I'm scrolling through all the different options, and no, nobody knows them all. Nobody really cares. You just look for them when you need it. So let's take the one with the buttons. And now when I'll click space, Visual Studio will write this for me: System Windows Form Message Box Button enum, indicating that this is an enum. An enum is a special type. It's not a class. It's a type that allows you to select from a closed list of options. So if I'll click dot now, I'll be able to select from the closed list of options that are relevant to what we were doing here. So I can say I want to have an OK button, or an OK cancel, or retry cancel, or yes, no cancel. So let's choose yes, no cancel just for the fun of it and to see the effect. Let's run this. And we can see that we have hello world with yes, no, and cancel. So even though it doesn't mean anything, it is very useful. So message box button is an enum. Okay, and we could see it because Visual Studio automatically gave it to us. Okay, if we delete our code, do comma, space, Visual Studio shows us that it's an enum and allows us to select it. Actually saves us a lot of typing because when we press dot, it types all of this text in and allows us to choose the type of button that we want to have. Great. So let's just do a quick recap of the changes that we've done here. Let's zoom to normal size. And if we'll go to the hello world and see the compare with unmodified in our changes screen, remember I clicked on changes, hello world, double click, and we can see that the change that we've made was to add the hello world caption and the message box OK button. And Visual Studio shows us these changes in a very detailed manner, which is extremely useful when you work in teams or when you have a lot of history. So let's go ahead and commit this change. Improve the hello world message box. Perfect.